Melissa Hager here, and I have a very special guest today, Sheriff Chris Swanson in the house.
What's
Hi.
up, girl?
How are you?
My co-host for
This is exciting.
Pinkpalooza.
You haven't been here in a while.
2.5 years. I thought I was in like timeout or something.
Running around rubbing elbows with celebrities. What are we going to do? I am so pumped to have you
Thank
here.
you, yeah.
A lot has happened in 2.5 years. We've raised bazillions of dollars for Pink Night. I exaggerate here and there.
Bazillion's great. It's
bazillions,
true,
yeah. That was really fun. We've been doing some good stuff there. But Genesee County, your county, tell us what's been going on there.
We're like a beacon of light around the world. And I don't say that lightly because I've said when I first started as the sheriff that what we're going to do is going to make a difference, but we're going to scale it out. And we're going to show others the example, and we're going to work with others who want to do the same. And that has happened, whether it's the March on May 30th, Police Evolution, I.G.N.I.T.E, Ghost, whatever it is. And that's what's happening. So it's just beautiful. Yeah.
So specifically tell us a little bit about Ghost, because I know a lot of people that are watching this do not know.
Yeah. So Ghost is Genesee Human Oppression Strike Team. We now actually call it Global Human Oppression Strike Team.
Okay.
And it started because I did international experiences and operations in 2017 for another organization. And I'd go to different countries. And human trafficking, which is the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world, American men and European men are the number one consumer. And so when we go to these countries, I go undercover and we pose as someone who's going to order up kids. We work with the federal police there in that country. And then when we set up the operation and the kids come in with the traffickers, everybody gets arrested, the kids get rescued, and the predators go to jail, and we fly back to America. So I did an operation in Mexico, and then I did another one in Haiti. And in Haiti, I've been there multiple times on multiple different events, but this one was a human trafficking one. And it was a 2-day operation, and I went as a CEO of a company to bring my company party over to Haiti and order a bunch of kids and do that, and we'll meet with the traffickers.
How do you do it? Does it make you a little... No?
It's undercover operations, you play a role. It's like acting. When you go on stage.
Yes.
There's the Melissa that you know, then there's the other one. And, to put a bookmark in that, and to answer your question, when I became a police officer in 1994, I got hired in 93, went to the academy in Saginaw in 94, got out in April. I was on a drug team in July. Three months later, I was on a drug team in the north end of Flint, buying 8 balls of cocaine and going undercover. And so at 21 years old, I was just dunked into the undercover world. Wow. And you take a guy like me who has never, ever, ever tasted alcohol in his life, never smoked, obviously never did drugs. But yet you have to go in that role. And then on top of that, being a detective for all these years, we theme people, we talk to people, we sell prison.
Wow.
So all that experience has allowed me, to answer your question, to be very comfortable playing in a role that fast. And it's like acting. So coming into the CEO part, the team that I was with had former SEAL team members. And so one guy to my left, his name is Jared, SEAL Team 3. And then we had another guy, Dave, who was same team. We had a couple people that had some other military undercover experience. And at the time we were there, they had a group of 6 European girls that were pretty much groomed to go to Dominican Republic to work at a 5-star hotel as this bougie hotel. And it was all a lie. And when they got there, their passports were taken. They were taken across the border into Haiti, and they were trafficked 7 days a week. No time off, no days off, no holidays. So our mission then was to get the intel to try to find out who they were. So we go into this club on the first night, and it just pounded, just all this bass, and it's this seedy club, and they pat us all down for weapons and wires, and the traffickers are all in the room, and the girls come in, and we're talking to them. And I know a little bit of Creole, but we also know some other, languages. And all we're doing is just letting them know we're here to help. We're here to help, And I'm laughing and doing all this, but the whole time I'm just getting intel. We did that operation, and I cut a video that second night, and I still had the video actually. And I said, I'm here in Haiti, and there's the backdrop of all the lights in Port-au-Prince, and it was like a moment where I said, if it's happening here, it's happening in Genesee County. And so when I flew back, I went to my boss at the time, the sheriff, and I said, I know we do prostitution stings, which is awful, but I'd like to start a concept team where we actually go after the predators before we answer a 911 call. Let's stop the process, because that's what we were doing there. And he said, all right, put it together. And that's where Genesee Human Oppression Strike Team took place. We did our first operation in May of 2018. And we have been now with sheriffs, and we have scaled it out in nearly 60 counties in the state of Michigan. We have been in 7 states. It's the national standard for enforcement. We've arrested over 200 predators since 2018, and we've never lost a case since 2018.
Wow.
Got a 100% conviction rate. We put great cases together. Our team was just in Alabama last week. We do operations. We're in Vegas with Vegas Metro PD. You want to hear a great story there?
Yeah.
So Vegas, they combined with the sheriff's office in that Clark County, and they became the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. And they're a massive agency. And so we know there's a direct connect from Flint, and a lot of the people from the Valley,
right.
Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland, they come down to 75. They go to either Flint or Detroit. So there's a direct connect to Vegas. So we work with the sheriff to go out there. I sent a team out there the first night. We're watching surveillance, and one of our victims from Clio, Michigan, is on the floor being pimped out in the casino.
Nuh-uh.
Swear to you, our Sergeant Dallas, is down there, and she has, I won't tell you the operation, but we have surveillance on different things. And she tells one of the operators, hey, go identify that person right there. Sure enough, Clio, Michigan, in Vegas, being pimped out.
Jeez.
And so there's no borders, there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
So I know it's a long answer to a short question, but Ghost is worthy of this explanation.
Yes.
And that's why we have, Ghost certification, where the actual emblem of Ghost, the name Ghost, is synonymous to protection. And it's the Batman of human trafficking. And we've got billboards in 62 locations throughout the state of Michigan, all interstates for the next year, with a quote that says, if you don't love your kids, somebody else will. And it's provocative. And I've gotten some blowback, but I know what predators do. They look for the opening. And if it's not being filled with something constructive, they're going to fill it.
They're going in.
Yeah. A sad emoji. Nobody cares. They're going to go in. All that to say, if I drop dead tomorrow, Ghost is going to live on.
That's really powerful. And did you always have that? Has this vision changed over time, or did you always see that?
So off camera, my undersheriff is also my best friend. He's known me since I was 18. And when he retired, we used to connect at his place down in Florida. And his wife is still down there. And he's just a loyal friend who left his family to come up here and be my number 2. And we used to talk on the beach of doing this. Wow. And if there's one thing about me, is that when I put my mind to something, it's over. It may take me 27 years to get it done. And I've trained myself, I did my 5th Ironman in September at 51 years old. And I did that to commemorate that, to push yourself mentally and physically to the edge. It proves to you can keep going. And so when I put my mind to something, whether it's Ghost or I.G.N.I.T.E or whatever, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I was going to get it done. And I wouldn't do it if it wasn't going to be right and I could show other people how to do it.
So I just got back from First Steps to Success. I told you about that, run by this company, Destiny Global. And the CEO, Mr. Ken Brown, actually knows Eduardo, who is the writer, producer, filmmaker for Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
And we just did a gala at an event last year where Eduardo was flown in and he hung out with us and we got to hear him speak. And I thought of you and I got to shake his hand and I said, if you ever get the opportunity to come to Michigan and meet Sheriff Chris Swanson, I cannot tell you how lined up you guys are.
That's crazy.
With the power you both hold in different arenas, I just feel like it could be an explosion of awesomeness.
Well, send him the link to the show.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
I certainly will. And I was like, man, this guy got to Jelly Roll. He's got to be able to get to Sound of Freedom. It became a #1 box office hit after sitting on the shelf for 6 years. No one would pick it up.
Right.
No one would pick it up. So, So speaking of entertainment, speaking of the entertainer world, you've been rubbing elbows with Jelly Roll. What's that all about?
We talk about all the time at the sheriff's office is we don't force anything to happen. It just comes to us. And I want to give that message out to anybody, whatever your industry is, you do right, good things are going to happen. You surround yourself with good people, good things are going to happen. Frederick Douglass, the most photographed image in the 1800s, even more so than Abe Lincoln, an abolitionist, a former slave who was set free and made it a point of his life to be a part of the fix. He said, I will work with nobody who desires division, but I'll work with anybody who has a heart for unity. And when I look at that and I say, okay, if this person can get me here, that's not the path Swanson's going to take. If somebody comes and says, I am like-minded, equally yoked, and I see what you're doing, and I want to be a part of it, I'm all in. And what I've noticed in the entertainment world, the sports world, there's a lot of people that post, there's a lot of people that tweet, there's a lot of people who say things, and they do nothing.
Yes.
They
Big
do nothing.
talkers. Big talkers.
And one of my mantras is, don't listen to a word Chris says, just watch what I do. And when those actions are picked up and people respond back, like Shaggy, you know, he flew from New Zealand to Flint to come to one of our I.G.N.I.T.E graduations. That's a guy who has the right heart. And so when somebody asks you about Shaggy, that's the real deal. Same thing with Kyle Kuzma, you know, with the Washington Wizards that won a championship with the Lakers. That guy has put action behind his words. And when I was introduced to Jelly Roll, it was 2022 at the CMAs. I just missed him at what's called Media Row. And so there's a guy down in Detroit, Steve Grunwald. He's the morning show host for 99.5, the largest country music station in Michigan.
Big one.
He's the go-between. I mean, Taylor Swift went to that station at 16 years old, and he put her on the air in Detroit. Grunwald is one of those kingmakers, right?
Yes.
And when we met during the George Floyd protests, we became friends. And when I was down there in the CMA Awards, he's like, hey, I want you to try to meet this guy named Jelly Roll. This is 2022, right? He was just coming into the edge. And we didn't meet. It was just the timing didn't work. I met, you know, a lot of other great people, and we get done. And about 4 months later, he happens to have dinner with Jelly Roll and his management team.
Oh.
And he said, hey, there's somebody I think you want to meet, and his name is Chris Swanson, the sheriff, because Jelly's a returning citizen, went to jail a number of times. You know, he's a former addict, and it just kind of planted a seed. So Steve Grunwald called me and said, hey, why don't you cut a video inviting him to the jail? I'm like, great. I pulled in my parking spot. I'm like, boom, hey, Jelly Roll, it's Chris Swanson, the sheriff. I said, we're doing great things in Genesee County. I'd love for you to come to see it. If it works out, great. And I said, it was like 90 seconds. Well, it just so happened, again, that he saw Jelly Roll at another event. And he played him the video. And he cut me a video back. And he said, Sheriff, I just heard what you're doing.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, I have those videos.
Oh, my gosh.
And he said, I see what you're doing. And man, I'd love to be a part of it. So when I'm up in Michigan sometime, I'm gonna figure out how to work it out. I'm like, great. So I asked Grunwald, I said, let me post it. He's like, sure. So we posted it. I said, if you want Jelly Roll to come to this area to do something great, I said, give him some love. And it went crazy. Fast forward, a couple months went by, and Jelly Roll's now massive, global. I mean, he's like Lainey Wilson in there, you know? And so the CMAs are coming back. And so they said, cut another video and show them what you're doing. So I went up on the jail floor. I'm like, hey, fellas. I said, who wants Jelly Roll to come to jail? And they all went crazy. I said, here's what we're going to do. I said, we're going to cut a video. We're going to make it raw. We're going to send it to them, and we're going to show them what we're going to do. And I did that. That was shown at the CMAs in 2023. And he cut me video back, and he said, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to do the concert, and it's going to be in December, and we're going to get it done because I have something at the Little Caesars Arena. And from that moment, we had put together this incredible journey where the number one fastest growing artist in the country music and in the rap world, the hip hop world, he flew 4 hours before he had to from Nashville, Tennessee to Detroit. I motorcaded him up to Genesee County. And he said, I will do one song, ended up doing 5 songs, didn't pay a dime, and Jelly Roll signed the jail door wall before he left, and his life has been changed forever because from the stage, when he said to me...
Now that I've really seen what you're doing here, Sheriff Swanson, next time we'll do a real Johnny Cash style. I'll bring the band and we'll call out every news station in America and tell them they got to see what's happening in Genesee County.
He looked over, he said, Sheriff, you're a man of your word. And so am I, because I didn't exploit his generosity. I didn't have, at his request, you know, photo ops and autographs and people I wanted to.
Yeah.
But that guy's coming back, and it's going to be sometime this year, and I'm excited. But again,
so I saw a video
amazing.
of one of your inmates cutting his hair.
Yeah.
Explain that to us.
So I started a barber school as part of I.G.N.I.T.E, and I.G.N.I.T E is the education model we have in the jail. And we do everything from speaking French to welding to, plumbing to, financial fitness, welding, social work. I mean, you just go Google I.G.N.I.T E Genesee County. And so one of the things we did was barber college because the fellas need to get their hair cut, right? So I have a licensed barber that's a deputy. It takes 1,800 hours to become a Michigan licensed barber. They've got all the time in the world in jail. So I made Barber School and barber chairs in all the pods. And when I sent him the fact that we're getting barbers graduated, he went right from the stage and he goes, "Hey, Sheriff, I know it's kind of off protocol, but I understand these graduates are barbers, so I want that guy to line me up before the night show at the Little Caesars Arena." So I said, "All right, bro." We took the chair, dragged it over there, had the clippers there, and he trimmed them up.
So imagine, can you say what the gentleman was in jail for?
Bad.
Bad?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine that's your life path. I mean, because this just blows my mind. This is your life path. So imagine his subconscious wheel in his head, what he tells himself every day.
That's right.
How awful of a person he is. You're never going to amount to anything. You're a loser. You're in jail. You're never going anywhere. And you decide to take some steps in the right direction while you're in jail.
Right.
And then you get to sit and cut. Jelly Roll is sitting right in front of you.
Right.
An international superstar.
That's right.
I just can't imagine what that did for
Before the show.
Yes.
Like you're the prep for the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your hair and makeup. That's
Right.
crazy.
And it's all on camera.
Oh my gosh.
But let me tell you too, you talk about I.G.N.I.T E, and I tell you the guy who did it, I.G.N.I.T E is that education model. I've never written a letter to a judge. I don't write letters on behalf of these inmates. I simply give them the opportunity to be constructive while they're locked up. Do you know 9 out of 10 people in jails in America, they go back to the streets. Only 10% go to prison. And when you look at 9 out of 10 of the people that come through the doors in jail, they're addicted or co-addicted.
Yes.
And then when you look at 6 out of 10 of them are mentally ill, half of them can't even read a menu.
Jesus.
And yet we put them back on the street and say, "Don't come back."
Yeah. Well, what are they supposed to do?
Exactly.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yes, most people don't. So the
Jeez.
I.G.N.I.T E model, and the reason people like Jelly Roll understand it, and there's 80 million people that have done at least one day incarcerated in America. There's people watching and listening right now that know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I did it. My brother got locked up. My dad got locked up at least one day.
Yeah.
When you look at people whose freedom was taken away, and if that moment something would have just popped into their life that would have been constructive and it would change the direction, maybe teach them something or give them something, because that's what I.G.N.I.T E is. It's you do your part, and the meritocracy is I'll do my part. You'll get extra visits. You'll get a tablet for games, music, and movies. You'll get an extra hour out. You'll be able to see your family. You'll get a graduation commencement. Some of these people have never been told, "Great job." They've been beat as a kid. They watch their dad go to prison and their mom do a line on the kitchen table and smack them around. And I'm not making excuses for the actions, but those people ultimately victimize people. And so when you teach somebody something and they never come back to jail, they never reoffend, they never readdict, everybody wins.
Okay, so you said those astronomical numbers. Do you know Genesee County's numbers?
Oh man, Melissa, we're recording this show on the 1st of February, 2024. I.G.N.I.T E has been understudy for 2 years by Harvard University, Brown in Michigan. I did an MOU 2 years ago, a memorandum of understanding, to allow them in the jail to say, "Listen, we started this September 2020 on the wake of George Floyd. I know this is a game changer. I can give you testimonies and fun stories, but you want data. You want empirical data to show it works." So tomorrow, the 2nd of February, they're releasing on the East Coast to a economic summit their findings to show that recidivism, return to jail, is reduced almost 40%. That
40?
That jail violence, I have the numbers to back this all up. Jail violence in our jail is down 97%. And since 2019, I've never had a single use of force lawsuit in the jail.
Wow.
And on top of that, we've graduated 25 commencements. Hundreds of inmates that are chefs at restaurants now, inmates that have never gone back to re-addiction. I could tell you story after story after story. Even if they go to prison and they link up with a program, not a shank. And so that keeps cops safe. It keeps COs safe. It keeps deputies safe. It keeps neighborhoods safe. When I say that we're in 20% of the states in America now, I.G.N.I.T E is that example. And that's what caught Jelly Roll's attention. And that's when I sent you the video that you'll be
Yeah.
able to play. He says it. You're game changing. And listen, it's humbling that he puts my name in front of it. I'm just a servant.
What's up, y'all? My name's Jelly Roll. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm honored to be here. I'll start with Sheriff Swanson. First of all, thank you. You are leading the future of justice reform. You are not just writing checks. You are putting your ass on the line to cash them yourself, and that goes noticed in this community. I'm seeing welding. I'm seeing barbers. I'm seeing kids get their diplomas. I'm seeing convicts turn to businessmen in real life in this jail, and that you are leading the forefront of realizing that what we're missing in justice reform is that we do not lack in disciplinary action or discipline. We lack in resources, and we lack in the ability to move forward, and you are creating those abilities for people. And as a poor kid that grew up with absolutely no resources, this is an honor that you're doing this for these inmates, and I hope y'all notice how special this is. I go to jails across America. I do this 30, 40 times a year. Most of the jails suck like every other jail, and don't get me wrong, this is still a jail and it sucks. But at least there's an opportunity here.
I'm just a tool. I just happen to be the sheriff when this idea came to me. And now I get to see it to fruition because just like any other business, if it's something that works, market it and teach others how to do it.
So when we're talking about this, Sheriff Swanson is from again, another video I'm going to show you guys. Jelly Roll says it, one of the most dangerous cities in the entire nation.
Man, I thank y'all for playing along with me today. I want y'all to know that I know he's a sheriff, but his heart is right, his spirit's right, and he wants to see y'all not come back. The crime rate is down. The violence in the jail is down. Offenders getting diplomas and trades is up. It's trending in the right direction, and God knows this is one of the toughest towns in the United States of fucking America.
We're not talking about, let's make Frankenmuth safer. You're drastically changing the face of your county, and now you're talking about crossing state lines. That's incredible. I did not know that. That's incredible.
2 weeks ago, I was in New Mexico launching it through the entire state, and I sent another captain to Utah last week. I've got a graduation number 26 on March the 12th. You should come for that.
Yes, I would love to.
You should visualize that. You ask, make sure she comes to that. I want you to see it.
Yes,
There'll be a time, Melissa, where people don't realize that there were days in jails in America where I.G.N.I.T.E was not part of the protocol.
So as citizens out here, those of us that do not recognize this, do not understand, we're just ignorant to it, not because we don't have a heart to see people succeed. What can we do to participate? What can we do to make it better?
What is the what? What do you want to make better first?
What can we do to help make these inmates successful?
All right.
Give us a frame of mind to help us move forward together without, like you said, division isn't going to help anything.
Right.
And that seems to be a very common thread right now. So give us some advice. Give us some motivation.
2 words. Trust me. Just trust me. When I go into a ER and I am bleeding to death, and the doctor comes up to me and says, trust me. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know where he went to school. I don't need to know what political party he's from, what religion he is, what gender they are. I don't need to know any of that. I'm bleeding to death. I'm going to trust the person that can save my life. I say that so emphatically because the office of sheriff that I hold is an honor that I have worked for since I was 18 years old. It's a platform that has reached billions of people.
Correct.
I am not going to minimize. I'm not going to take one opportunity not to accelerate that office and do the right thing for the people, to protect, serve, and unify. So you may not understand or realize, but if you can trust me, then just support. Just tell the story. Use your megaphone. That's why I came up here. I didn't even hesitate, because I know working with you, I know your heart. And I know together we are a force multiplier. And so you're doing exactly what you need to do. And the people that are out there right now, when you see an Ignite story or you just believe in the process, I may not be able to tell you this particular person didn't break into your house, or this particular person didn't rape your daughter, or this particular person did not overdose in your Walmart parking lot. But I know that's not happening. That's why Ghost is out there. And that's why Ignite's out there. And so, I trust the doctor, and I'm asking people to just trust me.
You.
And this is just the beginning.
So when it comes to social media is how can they support you? How can they find you? How can
Spread the message. So, I mean, it's pretty hard, and I don't say this to be arrogant, but just Google Sheriff Chris Swanson.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I use multiple platforms. You know, Us United, which is another whole, organization I started with a guy out in California, usunited.com. It's the brand of unity, and if you go there, you'll check it out. I'd love to show you that. But more importantly, my Swanson leadership page, the sheriff's office page. I mean, from every platform minus TikTok, you can find me, and you'll hear the stories. You'll see it. I do everything raw. I have no script.
Yeah.
I have no speechwriters. I do it live because I want people to see the heart.
And that I think that the lack of production is what, to me, makes you so appealing.
Thank you.
That you will just do, like you just said, you just stopped your car in your parking spot and messaged Jelly Roll, and it's like, what? You didn't go in your studio? You didn't turn on your lights? You didn't, what? Like, what? Are you crazy? And you did it. You just did it. That's insane.
I appreciate it.
You're insane, and we love you.
That's what Justice Bernstein says. You're insane. You're just insane. Love that guy.
It's so great. It is an absolute honor to have you here, and thank you so much for spending some time here with us. And actually,
are we done already?
I'm really proud. We don't have to be.
Oh my
I
gosh!
don't want to abuse your time.
No, I got 15 more minutes.
Yes.
There you go.
So